We're live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our panel. We're going to be at the intersection of science, technology, and biohacking. Wellness thrown in, mental health thrown in. We're going to cover a lot. I'm really excited. Hoping to cover as much as the founder's journey, pushing boundaries of what's possible in human optimization, performance longevity or mental health, and the future of wellness. So behind every ambitious founder is a human navigating fear, doubt, and the relentless pace of building something bigger than themselves. This space is for conversations where personal challenges and professional decisions collide. We're looking for clarity, resilience, and your sense of purpose. We hope you share all the good and all the bad with us today. Let's go around the horn and do your introduction and a little bit about your founder's journey, the catalyst for what you're doing now.
Hi, I'm Fiona Hillery. I am the VP of Brand Communications at HigherDOSE. We are a wellness technology. We make efficacious, portable tech that allows you to take the spa into your home. So we started with two female biohackers, Lauren Berlingeri and Katie Capps. They were overworked, stressed out New Yorkers, Katie in investment banking, Lauren entrepreneurial journey, and nutrition certified. And they saw a real white space in the market for making solutions to help self-care and make it really easy. And this is back in 2016, before infrared became the buzzy phenomenon in wellness that it is now. And so we launched the first infrared sauna spa. This is in 2016 in the basement of a hospitality partner, totally novel, but within a month we had athletes, celebrities, the word was out. We created a brand based on getting high naturally with infrared. And from there, we grew HigherDOSE to really be honed in on the mission of self-empowered healing, starting with in-studio spas, but then making technology to bring that spa into your home. And when the pandemic hit, we had already launched our OG sauna blanket, which is a sleeping bag apparatus that allows you to have an infrared sauna experience lying down at home. And we had to pivot the business. We had to shut down all of the locations because of the global crisis and go direct to consumer. And so luckily, the adaptability of the founders and the innovation that we were already pioneering with at-home tech really exploded. It was such a synchronistic moment where we leaned in, and now we have a thriving business where we make these self-care products that ritualize well-being every day, wherever you are. And we also have a community of 2,500 affiliates, practitioners, experts that are championing our brand on our behalf in terms of our talent. And in my own life, I worked in media, similar to Lauren and Katie, had a very high-paced job and hustle culture, and went through a personal wellness journey where I found the need for infrared and found the need for biohacking. And if you ask most of our employees, they're on the same mission. And so I have seen the power of the products to heal things like mold toxicity in my own life. And that's why I moved from media to wellness. And thank you.
Great. Thanks, Fiona. Myron, you got the mic.
Yeah, thank you. Fiona, I was in the sauna blanket just this morning. And it is amazing. It has become part of our sort of ritual every day, and part of our belief with ELASTIQUE is we want wellness and self-care to be easy, right? And it shouldn't add stress to take care of yourself, right? And we're bombarded with routines that are, 19 get ready with me steps, right? I don't know many people who love to dry brush, but but that's where something unlocked for us, and the founder, the founder journey is more than 10 years in the making, and it started with my wife. We had moved back from Paris. She had a high sort of talent job, or one of those high-paced jobs in Paris, and then we moved to Texas and have our first daughter. and she's like obsessed with like getting back to sort of her identity, and also like swelling, bloating, like all of these things that where she's trying to figure out like what's happening to my body. And a number of friends had recommended you should do a lymphatic massage, and it's like, well, that sounds great, but I don't have a lot of time. But she did and started doing a few of them and felt amazing. But it wasn't easy, right? It was like, what do I do with the kid? And, and I'm working at this time, I'm working, another job. I'm still working now, but I'm still working, another job at this time, and as a patent attorney. And so she finds like this power of the lymphatic system and how it was, revolutionizing her overall health. And I tried it at the same time. It's like, okay, there really is something to this. We started learning more about this and started meeting more doctors. But again, it just wasn't easy. And so then that's where she said, unlocked this idea of, I should just be able to put this on. Like, this should just be integrated into my clothes. And it's like, oh, well, surely there's a patent on this. And I go look, and they're not really. And so, okay, we're onto something. And here we are 10 years later with, the first and only device that, really is simple it combines two technologies of compression, gradient compression, and this technology that we call the micropearl. That's like a micro massage built in. It's the same depth as a lymphatic therapist. Whenever she's giving, a lymphatic therapist is giving you a massage, she or he, and we have, when we set out to start this, it was solving a need, which is where some of the greatest inventions come from. But then now we see these customer reviews with, tens of thousands of customers that come back and tell us this is life-changing, from managing pain, or they've gone through breast cancer, they've gone through some sort of, edema, swelling, battling with inflammation, autoimmune, and it's incredible to see these stories and hear, see the impact that something as simple as, what looks simple as a leggings or tops can really make in people's lives.
Thank you, Myron. Karena?
Hi, I'm Karena Dawn. I am the co-founder of Tone It Up. Number one, I love that you use the founder story and the word resilience, because that is such a true word. If you're a founder or a C-level, like, resilience has to be in your vocabulary. I founded Tone It Up in 2009. It's been a very long time. We are a fitness and wellness brand. We have an app with workouts and meditations and nutrition plan. We have nutrition products from protein and probiotics and all this stuff. It's been such a journey. The founder's journey is such a journey, especially it's coming up on 16 years and all of the changes with that. My personal journey on why I wanted to found Tone It Up, I grew up in a household with a mentally ill mother with schizophrenia. And when I came out of my decade of darkness, I would say, it was fitness that saved me. And moving my body, not for the aesthetic, but for the way that it makes you feel mentally. And I wanted to share with others, like, how moving your body can change your life and your mental health, and then eating healthy. And then now I have a PEMF mat from HigherDOSE at my house. I know dry brushing is very hard. I do have it outside my sauna. I try to do it. I need to use your products. I'm going to try that. But I guess the question was the founder's journey, and I think we all come from a place of passion and how to better our lives and share that knowledge with other people. And we're talking about
maybe biohacking. I call myself a basic biohacking baddie. I just like to like cold plunge and work out and sauna, and that's it.
The follow. Are we good? Are we live? The follow-up question to that, which we can come to later, is, okay, you each had a catalyst, the founder catalyst, and it was like it pulled you in. There was a burnout, there was a medical or a quality of life issue, and for you, you needed a solution. So that is strong enough to have you go, this has got to be better. And that takes a heavy lift. But what keeps you going? But before we get to that, so sustaining that commitment. But before we get to that, let's actually talk about the innovation. This is an innovation platform here, and we want to talk about either the biohacking or the new type of approach, because these are not medical approaches. These are holistic approaches. So let's get into the innovation and tech piece of it, and then we can come back to the hardness of it.
Yeah, I can kick this one off. So at HigherDOSE, we're not reinventing the wheel. These technologies exist. Doctors have used them for decades, but we're making them more accessible to consumers in their everyday rituals. And that consistency is key, right? Because if you're on a wellness journey, which, let's face it, it's 2025, we have daily stressors, be it watching the news or environmental toxins. You consistently have to show up to take care of your nervous system, to take care of your brain health, to detoxify. And so we are making these existing technologies more portable, more convenient, and more accessible. Take, for example, we have a red light hat that launched last year. There are helmets on the market that have the same potency in the actual use of technology, but they're bulky. You don't use them frequently. They're uncomfortable. And so we condensed the power of that technology into a baseball cap because it didn't exist yet. So I would say HigherDOSE is innovating around the product design and also innovating in the direction of female biohacking, because to date, that industry has been predominantly male. And so we are trying to educate our community about the nuances of the female hormonal cycle, as well as developing products that are for everybody.
Great, thank you. Yes, that is a good point we spoke about, which is the focus on the approach of biohacking from a woman's body's perspective. And it's International Women's Day, so let's hear it. Myron.
So innovation for us is really simple. It's simply helping as many people as possible, and helping more people than we previously thought was possible, right? And I mentioned before how it started with one woman, one need, right? But then the idea of going from there, of how many, the circle of friends, and then helping as many people as possible. But for us, there's an innovation. Hey, Billy. Good. But for us, there's innovation on the potency and the functionality, which is really, really important. And compression and devices have existed for many, many years. But if people don't like them and they don't like to wear them, and it's a pain in the ass to put on or whatever, it's not going to work. So for us, we also have to really think about innovation from the fashion side. We have to make it, it's got to be functional, and it has to look good too. Otherwise it's going to sit in the drawer, sit in the closet.
Just a quick follow-up for you specifically. Is your North Star the lymphatic system, or is it high-performance textiles? Like, would you segue into other textiles that would have other results, or are you to build on the lymphatic narrative?
Yeah, great question. We've switched, right? Switched, like gone back and forth, because textiles has been really important to us from the very beginning, just because we wanted the technology incorporated into apparel. But lymphatic health is really our North Star, in the sense that, learning about how important this is, how critically important it is. I think it's probably not many of us that woke up this morning like, wow, what am I going to do for my lymphatic system today? we hope that you start thinking thinking this way. We think it's, 10 years ago I wasn't thinking about gut health, but now it's actually, it's actually I'm conscious about it. Lymphatic health is key to, our lymphatic system is our detox system. It's our cancer fighting system. Our lymph nodes are where our T cells are made, our B cells are made, and so it's it's key to our immunity, right? And if we want to take incredible supplements, and we want to be able to absorb the nutrients that we need on a daily basis, we got to get rid of the cellular waste that all of the pollution and all this other stuff that that we're kind of surrounded by, that we have to get rid of this, right? And so lymphatic health, 8 billion people in the world have a lymphatic system, so we're focused on how can we make it easy to take care of it.
Okay, great. Raising awareness. Billy, hi. Welcome.
Thank you, biohacking.
We are midstream here, so do a quick intro. We started with the founder's journey.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, so started with some health issues, chronic inflammation in my body, acid reflux, high cholesterol in my late 20s from the standard American diet. Even though I worked out, still had issues. That led me down the road of starting a brand called Iconic Protein, which is a protein drink. It was the first of its kind, zero sugar, no artificial ingredient protein line, drinks and powders. So that was a 10-year journey of founding a beverage brand that I knew nothing about beverages and how to start beverages. So started that in Louisiana, moved to Texas after that, grew the brand in HEB and all the stores here, grew it into a national brand, raised money, sold it, took a couple years off, and now I'm in the world of anti-aging. So I'm 42, and when I turned 40, I did a biological age test that said I'm 47. 47, ouch. And I work out, come on. And I eat pretty healthy. So I went down this path of how do I reverse my age? And that's what I'm working in now, is I do like longevity health coaching, but also longevity supplements. So just age reversal in simplified formats.
Okay, I do want to get into longevity. We're going to come to Karena. We're going to talk about, what was the question? I don't even remember. It was
Innovation.
Yeah, innovation. So how
But-
does that apply to?
I have a question for
Yeah,
Billy.
go
So
on.
what is
Let's
your age
talk.
now?
I got it down 10 years from 47 to 37.
37. Okay.
And it's going to go down further. So.
Okay. Innovation. Again, I mentioned I've had Tone for 16 years. Innovation, I guess, like my community has grown with me. We are women. I'm about to be 44 in 2 weeks, March 22nd. Oh, I know it's okay. It feels great. But innovation, just with our nutritional products, we're changing ingredients in our protein powders, adding things like ashwagandha and some other ingredients that help relieve stress. I went through peri and menopause at a very young age due to who knows what. And so I've had to manage a lot of that. So a lot of my goals in innovation for women in my community that have grown with me is how can we reduce the stress? How can we calm down? How can we sleep at night? That is so important for women, because I went through such a hell of 4 years of figuring out my body and what works, and integrating even more of like meditation, all of your HigherDOSE products, and just like everything. So I think just learning how to support each other. And I think the number one thing for evolving for me and my company, because we're so community based with millions of women, is how do we support each other? So just continuing how to connect and support through social media and everything that we do.
I think what I'm hearing is it's not so much innovation from a lab,
Yeah.
but it's your truth.
Yeah.
You are the innovation. It's your truth. And you're saying, this has to be better for me. And once I get it better, I'm going to share everything with you. And I
Yes.
do want to use that as a launching point to talk about community from everyone, because these are not regular D2C brands where there isn't a fervor, a passion, a real emotional commitment from the people who are engaging in each of your products. So let's migrate to the topic of community. Hold the mic. Your
Yes.
turn. We'll go in reverse.
Oh, community. I mean, we built our company, Tone It Up, community first. We're talking building a community before Instagram existed. Like, we thought Instagram was a filter. And so it was always community first, never pushing a product or anything. It was like, we wanted to build community, but we were like, how can we support women? I know that I came up, which I mentioned, my decade of depression from being raised by a mentally ill mother and coming out of that. How can we find fitness to bring women together, to have that be your healing, and then be able to share stories? And that's how community was built. And then, the products came because the community was like, well, what do I eat here? What is my protein? What supplements? What is my nutrition plan? And that's always been the goal, is community first. There's a lot of brands now that want to build a brand and then build community around a brand. But why don't we give the solution first and then ask community what they need? And so that's just been my thing for all these years. And I'm really proud of Tone It Up and what it is and all of our community members. And it's created sustainability. It's caring about other people first.
It's very authentic. Myron?
Well, our community is about to expand this year to men, finally. I get to test the prototype. But we've had a really incredible community and in one piece that's organic, that's come from our customers. You'll see customers who are struggling through breast cancer or some fight, and they'll comment, and then a number of people come up around this topic to support each other, and then we also have community events here in Austin and in Paris, our two home bases, and we do walking clubs. Again, we want to make this easy, and walking is a great way to move your lymphatic system, and since it doesn't have a pump. And you don't have to run a marathon to have better lymphatic flow. You can just go on a walk. And we have great people who will just register, show up, and like, I've just moved to Austin. I haven't met anybody. I want to meet, and we'll have 50 people come to these events, and it's really, it's simple, but it's real. People forming real relationships.
Fiona?
So I think community has been in the DNA of HigherDOSE since the first day that we launched the sauna. We saw the hashtag #GetDosed go viral within the first 3 months, and we really understood the power of both getting to know our audience and also getting biofeedback from them. So some of the more potent ways in which we've engaged with community look like bringing them into our development process, having focus groups with our most loyal consumers where they give us feedback on products that we're going to launch, including them in consumer testing. We also give them education, because with female biohacking specifically, there's so much that you have to demystify. A lot of the recommendations, for example, cold plunging, you can't do when you're menstruating. So we've really tackled that conversation through educational content. And then lastly, we produce events that bring people together IRL to hold each other both accountable to do these biohacks, but also have some fun together, because taking care of yourself shouldn't always be so serious. So I would say it's three-pronged in terms of the product, the educational content, and then the events. But more on the B2B side, we also have an incredible group of affiliates. So these are doctors, experts, affiliate practitioners who advocate for what we're building, and they are also a huge part of our talent community that are basically ambassadors of our brand.
And they have an authenticity to them. They're respected. They're key opinion leaders. They're speaking. They're proselytizing your message. That's like me telling you, but I'm guessing that that's what's right.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. How about you, Billy? How are you? You're the experiment.
Uh-huh.
You said without the mic that you were 42.
I was 47 and got it done at 37.
Well, your age,
I am
your
42. Yeah,
chronological age was 42. Your
Correct.
biological age was 47.
Right.
But you've gotten it down to 37.
Right.
And are people just watching and going, "I want that too"? What is your community? I mean, we all want that. But
you know, it's interesting because with Iconic, with the protein drink, it was very much grassroots. Let's do a lot of events around town. Let's do races. Let's get active. And that was critical to get, as you know, like feedback on the flavor, on the ingredients, on your product offering. The first flavors were like super exotic. And guess what? People want chocolate and vanilla. They don't want your exotic bullshit, okay? Even if it sounds cool. They don't want it until later when they trust the brand. And with this new product, YouthRx, I've really done a lot around just sharing my journey to like reverse my age on social media, and people have been responsive to that. And they say, okay, like what supplements do you take? No. Like go work out, eat healthy, and like that's a big part of it. Okay, cool, but like what supplement do you take? And so I said, you know what, let me just share this. And so I shared my supplement stack, which is like 40 pills a day, all these different things. And oh yeah, no, I'm not interested. And so, and a lot of people, they have pill fatigue, as I call it. They're tired of taking pills. They don't want all this stuff. So I said, okay, let me just do an all-in-one and share the journey of creating this in like an all-in-one kind of daily longevity mix beverage powder and see if people dig it. Because at minimum, it's just something for me. I'll just make it for myself. And so that's been really critical in like getting people engaged in the journey to see what they're interested in, and their feedback. The feedback has been great because I had some other, kind of crazy ideas along the way too over the last couple of years, and people were like, no, I'm not interested in that. But this, people were like, yes, we want more of this. Make it easy. I spoke to someone earlier today at a cold plunge and sauna event, and she says, I can't take pills. Like I literally can't take them. I'll just gag. So like this is a lifesaver because I've always wanted these longevity supplements and I can't take them. So doing things around that is like, I think, a new way to build community of people that aren't interested in the crazy kind of Brian Johnson biohacking world of I'm going to eat bean paste and test all my food in a lab and never go out in the sun and like finish eating at 12 and like take 80 supplements a day. Like I want to talk to the normal people that just want an easier way to do it. Yeah.
I had a donut yesterday. Would you talk to me?
I would totally talk to
Okay,
you.
fine.
It was my dad's birthday today, so I literally sent him like better for you donuts and like a bunch of other stuff to his house.
Shout out to Voodoo Donuts over on 6th.
Heyo,
Yeah, like
heyo.
I sort of did a sampler and I had a bite from each, so it equaled 1. So I walked out with like 4.
You're
But I
fine.
did not eat all 4.
I do all this so I can eat the donut or eat the cheeseburger or whatever else. I'm never one to say don't ever eat a donut or cupcake. Eat the fucking cupcake, okay? Enjoy it. Enjoy your cupcake. Just like do the 80% that matters. It's going to keep you in check so you can enjoy the cupcake or donut.
Totally. There's a lot of compassion up here. Fun fact, we were able to squeeze in a pre-call with 2 of the panelists, and I cried to both of them because I really felt that they cared so much about their own space and the people in it. And I'm very I'm very vibey, and I was like, wow, you guys are so awesome. I'm not going to cry here. Promise. Ashumi, I promise. This is my second time. I won't be asked back. What are your thoughts on the lack of industry or community focus on biohacking for women? Do you see it migrating? Because that's Fiona's position, and I tend to agree that it is sort of more male-oriented at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, for sure. I mean, I'm friends with some of the OG kind of biohacker guys like Ben Greenfield and some of the other people that have just been crazy about it for a long time. And like 10 years ago, I'm like, Ben, you're just a crazy person. You're just weird. And now people are like, oh, yeah, like biohacking. So it's been an interesting journey. And I even met the founders of Soylent when they were starting that. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're biohacking. We're just like going to eat a bunch of soy so we don't have to eat food. I'm like, I don't know if that's biohacking, but okay. So I've kind of seen it transition, but I've known a lot of women that are in the health space. They just didn't call it biohacking, right? So I think it's just like a labeling thing. I don't know that there's like a lack of women that have been in biohacking. I think there's a lack of women that have claimed to be in biohacking because there's a lot of other fields of health and wellness, whether it's like yoga or sauna or other things like this. And like I have a friend over here in Austin. She's like a pull-up queen, but she was on American Ninja Warrior, won it 7 times, all these other things. And yeah, and she does biohacking, right? But like she's not like I'm a biohacker. So I think it's just like it became a bro science early on because you have these guys that are like science minded. and they liked saying the word biohacking, and women are like, you guys are nerds. So I think it's just been like a labeling and cultural thing, but I think there's plenty of female biohackers. They're just maybe not calling themselves that.
Maybe we went from wellness to understanding you can make molecular change, and that sort of brings in the bio piece, and you having a age reversal, the red light therapy, the lymphoma, the mental health even in the community on what that does to your brain. That's brain hacking, right? So being a founder can be very isolating. It can be very difficult. There are many challenges. You're up here, we're celebrating you, but would you mind sharing with us some of the things, the moments that were tough or where you're like, what am I doing?
Oh, I got a big one. I'll keep this pretty brief, but basically, we had private equity funding, like some of you may have experienced, and it's great until it's not. And we had a period after COVID where it wasn't, and it was very challenging. And I said, hey, let's get aligned, and while we're all here, guys, the founder talk. And they're like, okay, cool. We're here for money. We're here for money. That's why we're here. Cool. Okay, great. We're aligned. So now I know you're not here because you care. And so there was kind of like what we'll call a hostile takeover, because I wanted to like push into profitability with lower top line, and they wanted to just like keep burning the bottom line. And anyway, I ended up getting shingles, okay, at the age of like 38. And I got misdiagnosed twice, and it went from an ear infection to Bell's palsy, so half my face was paralyzed. Then I had this big rash on my face, and my team's like, boss, you okay? You don't look so good. Oh, I'm fine, because I'm like meditating, and I'm like reading books on stoicism. Yeah, that wasn't helping. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor, I walk in, and this guy says, oh, man, you got shingles. I said, shingles? That's for old people. And he's like, no, this is very serious, and if you don't get treated immediately, like you're going to lose your hearing, go deaf in this year, your face will become permanently paralyzed, and you're going to have all these like rashes and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool, what do I do? He's like, this stress is killing you. It literally activated this 20 years early in your body. So that was like, eye-opening moment to just like, disengage from the stress of that situation.
So founder, too stressful. Karena, let's go.
Billy, I can relate. Billy, I can relate. Yeah, so I also have had 2 rounds of private equity. Love it. I just closed an acquisition about 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
I love my new partners. I'm still a part of the company, but psoriasis, eczema, stress, oh my gosh, my face, my body, my neck, like I totally get it. And that's where red light therapy, literally, like I would have psoriasis so bad and I would sit 3 days in front of red light and meditate and it'd be gone. I can show you pictures. Yeah. But no, that is the thing. And being a founder and what goes with it. And it's the beautiful thing. I love the opportunity to partner with amazing private equity, and our new partners are freaking insane so far. No, they really are. They work in the wellness space and have been so great. But I totally like that's that founder experience. It looks so easy from the outside, but the stress that you put on your body of why you're so much older than you are is there's a lot that goes into it. And that's why it's so important for us to do all of the biohacking things, because that brings us back to just to base. So I feel you.
Yeah, I have a share that actually goes back to the last question. So you make a really good point. There have been women in this space for a long time, but I think where we moved into biohacking is where there's been a mass education around bioindividuality. So getting your baseline, really understanding your unique blueprint, and then developing a stack or a routine that is tailored to your individual health needs. So I do feel like that's where we get some of the mainstream advice from the male figures talking about hacks like cortisol, spiking cold plunges, that really for women, you need to have a little bit more nuance in that conversation. But we are seeing more females like Aggie, we love her, so it's starting to evolve. Lauren and Katie are at the forefront of it, which brings me to my next point. When it comes to understanding your bio-individual blueprint and getting this baseline blood work, all of us at our company, we get our holiday gifts at the end of the year. We all get a functional blood work. And lo and behold, we all have high cortisol. We all work at an entrepreneurial startup where we are managing multiple things, and it's kind of hilarious, but also really doubling down on practicing what we preach. In that we need to be mindful, especially in our work remote culture, of people's times, and we need to make sure that we are giving ourselves the grace that we give our customers to take breaks and to make sure that we're sleeping properly. And now we have team accountability. We all have Aura rings, and we all are on the same team where we make sure that we're getting 9 hours of sleep a night. But I think with the founders specifically, they had to really evaluate where they needed to take a step back and trust in the employees, because they both had health journeys similar to the two that you both spoke about, in which they had to make sure that they're delegating to the people who can support them. So, well, I know that I said a lot, but I hope that covers the two questions and clarifies wellness versus biohacking.
Thank you. Myron.
I think I heard a stat not too long ago that like 75-80% of college grads want to be a founder. Like, come stay with us come hang out with us for a while, and then decide if you still want to be a founder. I think there's so many rewarding aspects of it, but the toll that it takes, and something that we constantly battle is we want to give this thing to the world that we've created, but it doesn't mean being a martyr, and sacrificing our own health to do that. And so we're constantly figuring this out, our balance of how do we put this out there without killing ourselves, and to complicate matters even more, we've decided to do this with my as a married couple, and I don't know how many podcasts you've listened to of like how I built this. How many of them start with a divorce of the two founders, right? That this is something that's like we're convinced it's not going to happen, right? No.
Right?
And so not only sacrificing our own health, but making sure we don't sacrifice our marriage. We still make sure we try to leave time for our kids, but our calendars, part of that is just blocking our calendars. People are constantly trying to steal our time.
So we're going to wrap up with quick responses, best to your ability, on either from your own personal or company perspective on the future of wellness / longevity. You can start. You have the mic.
I think the future of wellness is more personalized. I like this idea of the individual blueprint. I truly believe that the more that we can have our own blood work taken and a kind of a gene mapping and understand who we are, and not just take something that's out of a bottle that's kind of for everybody, right? But we're customizing it and tailoring it to us, and then also making education about our body and how it's working really simple and an easy way to check in, right? In kind of how we're progressing and tracking towards the goal that we set.
Got it. Karena.
Number one, when you talk about, I'm backtracking a little, when you talk about entrepreneurship and what we go through, I wouldn't change a thing, right? Like, would you change a thing? No. Future of wellness, I feel like for me it's pretty simple. I founded Tone It Up 16 years ago on community, and I think through 2020 in the past few years, and isolation has really affected wellness. And we are getting back to community and getting together, and just seeing it evolve, and finally people getting together again. I think just getting together and human connection is so healthy. There's that epidemic of isolation, getting rid of that. And then all of the things that you said too, but for me, it's just community.
Thank you. Fiona.
Everything you both just said, plus AI-powered smart homes, where we are integrating smart water systems, air purification systems, and then all of the biohacking tech that we're starting to see in med spas that become normalized for daily use. Something I nerd out on as I look into futurism and do the research. So, yes, and.
Very cute. Very cool. Billy, final thoughts.
Health is wealth. I think that the reframe for people is understanding that aging is a disease and it can be treated. So they will begin to invest at exponential rates in their health, and people will be spending a lot more. The new wealthy flex, instead of a Lamborghini or Ferrari, is going to be a hyperbaric chamber in your living room, right? And for everybody else, it's going to be, hey, I'm going to invest in more blood labs, I'm going to invest in more saunas and all this kind of stuff.
Very good. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Health is wealth.